Hey everyone, Stephen from Allan Admissions here, and today I have an interesting proposition for you. You should ignore the sticker price when considering where to apply for colleges. Huh? I thought colleges were super expensive. Well, let's go into a little bit what I mean here. So, I'm a big believer in the idea that you don't have to make decisions before you have to. It sounds like a really obvious idea, like who doesn't make decisions when before they have to? But a lot of times we just end up cutting ourselves off from opportunities for whatever reason. Maybe it's emotional reasons, maybe we're jumping the gun on practical reasons. But whatever it is, and I'm certainly guilty of this, we all decide, you know what, I don't have the time for that, or I don't have the money for that. But until you actually sit down and see what the full scope of information is, it can be a little bit difficult to say that making a decision before you have to is a sound idea. And in that regard, I think that cutting yourself off from applying to colleges because of the sticker price is a mistake for a few reasons. First, it's important to keep in mind that the sticker price that you see is not necessarily going to be the price that you pay. We often think that only low income households are going to be the ones to get financial aid, but that's just not the case. There's plenty of scholarships, plenty of grants, plenty of even financial aid directly from the school for students from a variety of income backgrounds. If you're watching this video and you already know that you can afford to pay for college no matter what, honestly, I'd say there's probably other videos that are better worth your time. But if you're in the spot where you think that college may be an expense, a burden on your family, keep in mind that the price that you see is not necessarily the price that you're going to pay. Imagine if you went in to buy a Lambo and you saw that the sticker price was whatever, 250K. But then you found out that depending on a variety of factors, that sticker price could come down to as low as 25K. All of a sudden, the Lambo is in your sights and it may not actually be as far out as you think. College is kind of the same idea. As a matter of fact, if you search on Google right now, they often, for different schools, will break down what the typical expected price can be based upon your household income. Now, I wouldn't treat that as gospel. Obviously, everyone's situation can vary. Colleges can change their financial aid packages all the time. But you'd be surprised at how often what you see as a 80K sticker shock price can actually come down quite a bit. It can still be expensive. There's no doubt about that. Let's not pretend that 80K is going to magically just transform into, $80 for the year. Like, unfortunately, that's just not going to happen. But it can come down like well over 50% for a surprising amount of people. But unfortunately, the only way to find out what your actual price is going to be is to get admitted to college and see what their financial aid is going to be. So what does that mean? It means that if you're sitting here in the summer or fall going up into or part of your senior year, the only defined known price for you is the application fee. And quite honestly, it's fairly easy to get fee waivers for a lot of these universities. Honestly, I would just Google fee waivers for your particular school. You'd be surprised how easy it is to find few. And even for the ones that may not be readily available, my experience is that colleges are often pretty generous with giving out these fee waivers. That, again, doesn't mean you're 100% going to get a fee waiver. I'm sure that there would be someone who can unfortunately say that they applied to 8 colleges, needed a fee waiver from all of them, and got fee waivers from none of them. I have no doubt that that person exists. But I'm just saying you won't get that fee waiver unless you try. And even if you do need to pay the fee up front, paying $80 to find out yes or no for a school is a heck of a lot better than having to mentally commit 50, 60, 70K when you don't even know if that's going to be the end price that you end up paying. The best way to say this is that finances, as it relates to deciding whether to enroll in a university, only really matters when you have the information in front of you in April. Up to that point, it's all just theoretical. Could you pay 70K, 50K, 30K? It's really impossible to say. And once you have that number in front of you, you can decide, one, if it's good enough for you. Two, you can try and negotiate with the schools. Your results may vary, and Frankly, I probably wouldn't count on having a lot of luck with negotiating with the schools, but it's a step that you can try and take and then see what works best for you. But to cut yourself off early in September, October, November, because you chose not because you feared what the sticker price would be, it's just selling yourself short from what opportunities might exist. Now, caveat emptor, early decision, you get in, you're going to have to accept the financial aid. I think early decision in that regard needs to take into consideration that you are prepared to pay the worst case scenario for financial aid, whatever that may end up being. Unfortunately, if I were a parent of a student wanting to apply early, I would do the math. I would see what the worst case scenario is for paying for college, and I would be prepared for a financial aid package that's actually even less than that. The idea being that you want to prepare for not just the worst, but what you think is worse than the worst. And then if it turns out being better than that, great. And if it doesn't, well, you already prepared for it. But again, this only applies to early decision applicants. If you're applying regular decision, you'll have a multitude of options to prepare, to choose from. You don't have to accept any one of them. And you can even negotiate depending on what school gives you different options. That's all for today, folks. Any questions, just leave them in the comments down below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.